Hey guys, welcome back to Salem, Cellar. So today we're going to be discussing some new releases that I recently watched, and I'm going to let you know what I thought about these movies and if they're worth the watch. Of course, there's going to be some spoilers. It's hard to do this without it, but I'm really excited to talk about these movies with you guys. I'll be right back. So a lot of these movies I was impatiently waiting to watch, so I was pretty psyched when I got to watch them. The first one is Trap. Now this is starring Josh Hartnett. It was written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. I'm a big fan of his. I remember doing the trailer reaction and like, this is cool. This didn't feel like anything that he did before. It felt completely new and fresh. My biggest issue though was that the trailer gave away, I thought was like a cool aspect of the movie. And if you saw the trailer, this is not really a spoiler because, you know, the trailer gives it away. Josh Hartnett is the psychopath that the police department, the FBI, everybody is after. That would have been something that I would have enjoyed if they would have waited into the actual film, because I would have never thought it was him. Never. So I'm like, okay, so they're giving away this big spoiler that has to be a big twist at the end, right? So what this movie is about: a father and his daughter attend a pop concert only to realize they've encountered the center of a dark and sinister event. Now, hearing that, I'm thinking he's going to the concert with his daughter and like, you know, there's a killer there and like, you know, they're in danger and he wants to get his daughter out. No, he's the danger. He's there with his daughter and he's the one who is, I think they call him the Butcher. That is his serial killer name. And they were tipped off that he was going to be there. So everybody and their mother is there looking for him. So like I said, I would have loved for them to save that for the actual film. Like, you would have gotten me in the chair with M. Night Shyamalan and Josh Hartnett. I was there no matter what, going to watch this film. The fact that you give away that big spoiler wasn't cool. I wasn't really happy about that. But the entire time I'm hoping for a big twist at the end. Like, I see dead people twist, right? So I'm watching the film. It starts off good. I'm enjoying it. This film is actually also starring one of M. Night Shyamalan's daughters. Now, this is not the one who produced The Watchers or Watchers. This is a different one. But yeah, M. Night Shyamalan makes the cameo. It starts off really good. I'm enjoying it. It, like, you know, the music, it wasn't too bad. It's very suspenseful. This film is PG-13, by the way. It wasn't R-rated, so you're not going to see anything brutal. So the suspense is building. You're like, oh my God. So they're all after him. How he's going to get out of there. And I'm just watching the film, waiting for something like really crazy to happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't. So the first half of the film, I really enjoyed. It builds up that suspense, got me at the edge of my seat. And I feel like the second half fell flat. There was no massive twist. There was nothing like that I didn't see coming. It was just kind of like there. You know, obviously Josh Hartnett is completely insane. He's a sociopath. He's able to be a dad and a husband. And I'm pretty sure he's a firefighter, you know, has a job in like with authority. But he's also kidnapping people, men and women. He's not discriminating, and he is chopping them up. So that was cool that he's sadistic and insane, but I wanted more. Like, I wanted more from the ending. I think like their little twist was supposed to be, spoiler, that his wife gave him up. His wife thought he was having an affair, followed him one day, saw one of his torture porn, I don't want to call it porn, but I'm sure he's getting off on it, like his torture porn dens where he's chopping off these people. And she put a tip, you know, to send a tip out to the FBI, like, hey, he's gonna be there. I think in her heart, she was hoping that he wasn't the butcher and he wasn't the killer. But yeah, he was. I think I would rather my partner be having an affair than chopping people up. But yeah, it was just, the ending was just so flat to me. But I do have to say, Josh Hartnett's performance was phenomenal. He looked completely insane. Now, I love Josh Hartnett from Halloween, H2O, from The Faculty, from 30 Days a Night. He is a horror king. Like, he is amazing. And he showed his horror capabilities in this film. Like, he was just so, he looked fucking crazy. It goes from him like looking like a nice happy dad to like completely crazy eyes, absolutely crazy eyes. But he did such a great job. I really enjoyed him. I even enjoyed his daughter. She was good. She was fun and good. Like, you know, she was like the peppy vibe in this film, but he was phenomenal. I have to give it to him. So out of a 5, I would give this movie a 3. And I feel like that's a little generous. That's because of Josh Hartnett's performance. That's because of the first half was really good. It was just the second half that just didn't do it for me. And I don't know if it's because I just have such high expectations for M. Night films, or it was just because it was just a little dull. Maybe a mix of both. So yeah, I would give this a 3 out of 5. Would I watch this again, and do I recommend you to watch it? Sure, why not? Like, if it's streaming somewhere and it's free, then definitely go ahead and watch it. I don't know if I would watch this again, if I would run to watch it again. I don't think I really missed anything from the first time I saw it. It's not like, maybe I'll watch it again, I'll feel differently. I think I saw enough and I'm good. But I do think if it's somewhere streaming for free, definitely check it out. It wasn't a horrible film. I just wanted more. It looked freaking cool. It looks like it was gonna be sick. Another film that I watched was Watchers. Now, this is actually written and directed by Ashana Shyamalan, which is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. Now, it's starring Dakota Fanning. I really wanted to love this film. I remember watching the trailer. I'm like, that's cool. This looks different. You know, they're kind of behind the glass. They don't know what's going on. You don't know who's watching them. Like, it sounded like a type of creature. So the beginning half of the movie was interesting. It wasn't bad. The acting wasn't bad. It had a cast that I enjoyed. It was just, the ending was very predictable. I kind of guessed it before it even happened. Spoiler, so there's fairies, I guess, like monster-like fairy tale fairies that live in these woods, and that's who's watching them. And they can't go out during the day, so they kind of roam the area during the day, these people that are trapped, and at night they lock themselves in this room while they're being watched. Now, they can't see out, but the watchers, the fairies, can see in. It was an interesting story. I think it had a lot of potential. I don't think it did too well, though. The ending was just very predictable. I wanted more. I wanted a bigger twist. I wanted just more. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's just, it needed more. It just fell flat. The entire movie just fell flat to me, which was such a big disappointment because I really wanted to love this film. Out of a 5, I would give it a 2.5. Will I watch it again? I actually did watch it again. I watched it a second time because I wanted to see if maybe I missed something. Maybe the first time I watched it, I was in a mindset, like, kind of guessing what's going to happen next. And who's this person? Who's this person going to be? Like, is this person going to be a fairy in disguise? Because they can shapeshift. So, which is a cool aspect of the film. So the whole time I'm like, that person's the fairy, that person's the fairy. And I was right. But it's just, the second time around wasn't any better. It's not a horrible movie, but it's not what I wanted or expected it to be. I wanted more gore. I wanted more deaths. I wanted a bigger twist. And maybe some more of this, like the folklore behind the fairies. You get a little bit of it, but I think I wanted more, honestly. And maybe more seeing them go after people. You know, you see there's one scene where they pull kind of like a guy into their well, and we know they're probably gonna eat them. Who knows what they do to them? I can't remember. But anyway, just was like, oh, okay. I guess like these people live in the woods. Why aren't they trying to leave? You know, you see somebody tries to leave and they're not successful, but you have literally how many days of sunlight just to get the hell out. I know, it was okay. Like I said with the last film, if it's somewhere for free to streaming, then check it out. Just don't expect anything like insane, and don't expect gore, blood, or a twist at the end. It is what it is, this film. So last but certainly not least is the thriller crime horror film Longlegs. Now, this was written and directed by Osgood Perkins. Does that name sound familiar? Well, that is Anthony Perkins' son. Remember Anthony Perkins from Psycho? Yeah. So I was just dying to see this film. I could not go to theaters to see it. I just saw it this past weekend. Let me discuss what this is about first. So, in pursuit of a serial killer, an FBI agent uncovers a series of occult clues that she must solve to end his terrifying killing spree. Now, this is starring Micah Monroe, Nicolas Cage, and Blair Underwood. Now, Blair Underwood, I just want to say first, he looks amazing. I would have, like, he has not aged. This man has not aged. Nicolas Cage, whew, okay. That opening scene, the opening scene is when I knew I was going to have problems with this film. It literally, nothing really happens, nothing insane, but it scared the shit out of me. Scared the shit out of me. I don't know what about it, but it like literally made my skin crawl and just kind of like on guard for the rest of the film. I'm like, this is going to scare the crap out of me. Nicolas Cage was phenomenal. He was so creepy. If you didn't tell me that was Nicolas Cage, I would have never thought it was. There's some points of the film where you hear his voice and it does sound like him, but there's a lot of times it doesn't. And it doesn't look like him at all. Like, this movie is insane. It has a Silence of the Lambs feel to it. It also reminded me of another film. I can't put my finger on it at the moment, but definitely like Silence of the Lambs, but with the devil, like more sadistic. If not, if like Silence of the Lambs couldn't get more sadistic, right? So there's shots throughout this film where you see the devil. I was trying to keep count of how many times he just appears in the background, or like he appears and then goes away. It has to be at least 10. This shit is creepy. It is so creepy. Now, towards the end, like the first half of the film, I'm just like at the edge of my seat. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Who is this person? Who is this person? Why is this happening? Why is it so creepy? Like, I was creeped out. And there's some jump scares where I jumped up. Like, I'm telling you, I watched this before bed and it messed me up for the night. I was having nightmares. I was seeing Nicolas Cage's face next to my bed. It messed me up. Nicolas Cage, you messed me up. Whew. Okay, so the first half of the film was really good. I just wanted to find out, why is this happening? Why is he doing these things? How is he doing these things? And at the end, they show you, you know, what happens, how he's doing it. And I was just like, oh, okay. The ending, I don't know. The ending just did not wow me. I was just kind of like underwhelmed with how it ended. I think I wanted more of an explanation of like, you know, this is a cult like this movie. This is supernatural. It's not just human beings like killing other people. This is human beings being controlled by the devil and killing other people. They are just a lot of mind control going on in this movie. And it's the mind control in the most horrific ways, getting fathers to murder like their children, and their wives, their entire families. Is very Amityville horror. Alicia Witt stars in this film as well. She's from Urban Legends. She plays the mother in this film, and she reminded me a lot of the mom from Carrie. I saw her, I'm like, oh my God, this screams Carrie. It was just, she was just completely seemed insane. But at the end, you understand why she was this way. It was pretty much, she would do anything to save her daughter, and she does. I really did enjoy this film. I wanted more to the ending though. The suspense was building the entire film, and then at the end, I'm just like, even though they explained what was going on, I was still kind of confused. Like, I wanted more of an explanation. I wasn't just content with like the devil was helping Nicolas Cage create these dolls, and then they were controlling families or fathers. Like, I wanted more. I wanted more of an explanation. I was just kind of like left like, what? Why? How? Why do you choose this? Why do you choose Nicolas Cage? And why did, it was just kind of like, I wanted more. I felt like I was left with just too many answers. And maybe I just need to watch the film again. Maybe it'll make more sense. But after watching one time, that's how I felt. But this movie is creepy. This movie is scary. This movie is definitely a movie made by Anthony Perkins' son. Like, it's just, it was heavy. It was a lot. You're gonna leave it like, those memes or those GIFs or, the videos of people leaving this movie and they're like, yeah, that's how it was. Do I think the movie was overhyped? Absolutely. I think people were losing their minds about this film, and it's a good film, and it was creepy, and it was very ominous and dark. But do I think that it deserved the level of praise that it got? No, not really. I just definitely think it was, people were building this movie up to something that I feel like it wasn't. And maybe that was the problem. Maybe because everybody was just like, oh my God, this movie's gonna screw you up forever. Like, I had one night where I was hard to sleep, but then I was fine. Maybe because my expectations were so high, that's why I'm like, okay, I was maybe a little let down. Not a bad movie. Out of all the movies that I've seen recently and discussed, that was one of my favorites. It is a good film. I definitely think you should check it out. Pay for it. I think it's a pay-worthy film. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Out of a 5, I would want to give it a 3.5. I'm kind of like back and forth with a 4, but I think 3.5 is fair. Is it a movie that I will watch again? Yes, but not before bed. I will not watch this movie before bed. And it's solely because of Nicolas Cage. There's something about when he has that high-pitched voice and just looking directly into his eyes that is just so haunting. And seeing that before bed is just brings on dreams I don't want. So yeah, I will watch this movie, not before bed. But I do recommend it. I do think it's worth the purchase and the watch. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below. Let me know if you've seen any of these movies, what you thought about them, and if you've seen anything recently that you thought was amazing and you think I should check out. I hope you're having a great day, and I will be right back.